A Zales jewelry store in Atlanta. A young man at the counter asking how much he owes on his girlfriend's ring. Shy, head down. An enormous hand slides a credit card across the counter. You'd assume it's the guy's father, a generous boss, right? That man is Shaquille O'Neal, four-time NBA champion, net worth $500 million, there for earrings. Nobody asked him to pay for a stranger's ring. He just felt like it. He paid, shook the stranger's hand, walked out. The question isn't how Shaquille O'Neal got rich. It's why someone worth $500 million still moves like the money never changed a thing. Is it an act? Calculated? Or did growing up in Newark wire him in a way no contract could undo? That answer starts before the NBA, in one of America's most dangerous cities, with a kid who needed somewhere safe to go. Newark, New Jersey, 1972, a city that would rank on the top 10 most violent list in America for 50 consecutive years. Drugs, gangs, gun violence, not as background noise, but as the daily reality of every street in the neighborhood. Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal was born here on March 6, 1972. His biological father, Joe Toney, once an all-state high school basketball guard good enough to receive a Seton Hall scholarship, was in prison for drug possession when Shaq was an infant. Toney eventually relinquished his parental rights entirely. His mother, Lucille, raised him with her husband, Philip Harrison, a career Army Reserve sergeant, the son of a Jamaican father who beat discipline into him the old way, and a man who decided he would be different. Harrison made one thing clear from the start. He would rather be the hardest person in Shaq's life than let the streets of Newark be. Both parents worked. Neither could afford a babysitter. They lived directly across the street from the Boys and Girls Club on Avon Avenue, so every day after school, young Shaq was sent there to wait until one of them got home.
A lot of times when parents work, kids need places to go. When parents could not afford babysitters, and I had to stay out of trouble.
It was there, on the wall of the gym, that he first saw a photograph of Julius Erving, Dr. J, and everything changed. In the gym, there was a picture of one of the greatest basketball players ever, Julius Erving, Dr. J, and I would try to be him instead of focusing on being clumsy, tall, or laughed at.
My father used to come into class and whoop me in front of everybody. I was a major high-level juvenile delinquent that could have definitely been in trouble all the time. My father taught me not to...
Philip Harrison was eventually stationed in Germany when Shaq was 12, then Fort Sam Houston, Texas, when he was 15. At Robert G. Cole High School in San Antonio, the awkward Newark kid nobody had yet figured out went 68-1 over his junior and senior years, capping it with a 36-0 state championship senior season. LSU followed, two-time SEC Player of the Year, 1991 College Player of the Year, and on June 24, 1992, the Orlando Magic called his name with the first overall pick in the NBA draft. But before any of that meant anything financially, Shaq got his first real education in money.
Choices quietly guided his path.
And it was brutal. Before the draft, Shaq's experience with serious money began at LSU with a used Ford Bronco he bought for around $1,500, funded almost entirely by a federal Pell Grant, a government subsidy for students with financial need. When the dealership told him he'd need insurance to drive it, Shaq asked what insurance was. When he found out it could cost $300 a month, he tried to return the truck. Then came the first real check, $1 million from a trading card company, landing in his account before the 1992 draft. Shaq described what happened next, that how he spent $1 million in just 30 minutes. He felt good. 3 Benzes. Family taken care of. He was still up. The next day, a bank manager called him. The man's name was Mr. Johnson, the father of someone Shaq had gone to school with. And he had one thing to say. You know, 50-60% of all professional athletes, when they're done, they have nothing. And I don't want you to. What Shaq had forgotten, what almost nobody tells young athletes, is that the $1 million on the check is gross, not net. After taxes and agent fees, he was already in the red.
That's a valuable lesson, right? We always make that quote that formal education can make you a fortune, but self-education can make you a fortune. And so I'm glad that you said that part.
That phone call changed everything. Shaq started asking different questions. He began to understand the difference between making money and keeping it. He developed a philosophy he still teaches. Save 75% of what you earn. It's not about how much comes in, it's about what stays. And he applied it to his children too. 6 kids, 4-time champion, $500 million. and his message to all of them is the same.
I tell them all the time, we ain't rich, I'm rich. If you want me to invest in one of your companies, you're gonna have to present it, boom, 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 bring it to me. I'll let you know, I'm not giving you nothing.
He expects every child to earn 2 degrees. If they want financial backing for a business, they pitch him like any other investor.
It's all gushy. Some downtime can be the right time to put things in perspective. Shaq knows most people have
Most men with $500 million live at a careful distance from ordinary life. Shaq moves through it. He's been photographed grocery shopping, caught at Walmart, spotted at regular restaurants without a security detail the size of a small army. He buys things in regular stores, stands in regular lines, and according to multiple verified accounts, reaches into his pocket for the person behind him without announcement. His off-court life has its own texture. He DJs under the name DJ Diesel, not in small rooms, but at full-scale EDM festivals, where he performs with an energy that suggests he's having more fun than anyone paid him to have. He has served as a sworn reserve law enforcement officer in multiple jurisdictions: the Los Angeles Port Police, Golden Beach, Florida, Doral, PD, carrying a badge not as a celebrity curiosity, but as a genuine commitment. And when someone asks why he still lives this way, why he doesn't retreat into the kind of insulated celebrity world that wealth usually builds, he points back to Newark, back to Philip Harrison, back to a man who made $30,000 a year and still gave away his family's dinner. There's a moment Shaq has described from his childhood that explains everything. His family didn't have much. One evening, his father had picked up a bag of hamburgers for the family. Walking to the car, they passed a homeless veteran. Philip Harrison stopped, handed the man the entire bag, and got back in the car with nothing. Then he turned to Shaq and said one sentence: "If you ever make it big time, make sure you help those in need." Shaq has described his entire life of giving as a direct response to that moment, because of what a man who made $30,000 a year taught me. The most visible expression of that lesson is Shaka Claus, his annual Christmas giveaway that in 2025 reached its 24th consecutive year. At Fairview Elementary School in Atlanta, nearly 600 children received sneakers, toys, winter coats, and school supplies. His son Sharif stood beside him and handed out gifts himself because Shaq wanted his children to understand what giving looks like when it's done right. There's also Shaq's Giving, annual Thanksgiving turkey giveaways, and a quiet habit of walking into stores and paying the bills of strangers. He paid for a man's engagement ring at Zales because he overheard the conversation and felt like it. He furnished a woman's entire house, approximately $30,000 worth, after she mentioned her home had just caught fire. He described the whole thing to Jimmy Kimmel afterward. "I'm into making people happy. I didn't mean for that to get out because I don't do it for that. I'm just trying to make people smile, that's all." Through his Shaquille O'Neal Foundation, he donated $1 million to build technology centers inside boys and girls clubs across America in 1999. He has refurbished courts, called comeback courts, in Newark, Las Vegas, Miami, and Atlanta. He invested in downtown Newark's development and announced he plans to live part-time on the top floor of his own building there. His mother told him to go back and fix Newark. He's following orders. If it wasn't for this place, there wouldn't be a Shaquille O'Neal or a Shaquille O'Neal brand. Everything connects to the same origin. A kid whose biological father was absent. A stepfather who hit hard because the streets of Newark hit harder. A mother who worked and couldn't afford a babysitter, so her son spent his afternoons in a boys and girls club where a woman named Miss Banks made sure he showed up, did his homework, and went in the right direction. A poster of Dr. J on a gym wall that gave a clumsy, too tall kid something to aim at instead of something to run from. And a father who handed his family's dinner to a stranger in the cold and told his son to remember that. The $1 million lesson in the 30-minute spending spree. The bank manager who called because 60% of professional athletes end up with nothing. The 75% rule. The 6 children who have to pitch their own business plans. The endorsement deal with the General because they gave a broke college kid an affordable insurance rate on a $1,500 Ford Bronco and he never forgot it. It all comes from the same place. A man who grew up with nothing, in a city that didn't offer much, raised by people who showed him that what you do with your resources when you don't have to do anything, that's the real measure. So why is Shaquille O'Neal so rich, but lives like an ordinary man? Because the ordinary life was never something he grew out of. It was something he grew from. He made $286 million playing basketball and built a $500 million empire in business. He did it by investing in things regular people use, endorsing brands he actually used when he was broke, and remembering that the most important financial advice he ever got came from a man making $30,000 a year who gave away his family's dinner without hesitation. The young man at the Zales counter didn't know who had just slid a credit card across for him. Shaq didn't need him to. He paid for that stranger's ring the same way his father handed over those hamburgers in the cold. Not for recognition, not for cameras. Because that's what you do when you remember where you came from. We live in a world where wealth is supposed to separate you, where the bigger the contract, the bigger the distance from ordinary life. Most people at that level build walls. Shaq builds courts, refurbishes clubs, pays mortgages, stands in regular lines. By luxury standards, he may look like he never fully leaned into what his money could buy. By the standards of a man from Newark who watched his father give everything away with nothing left to replace it, Shaquille O'Neal is one of the wealthiest people who ever played this game. Not because of the rings, because of what a man who made $30,000 a year taught him, and because he never stopped listening.